So where we're at, Ali, with the temperature?
68.8.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
not good.
We'll just wait a moment.
So we need to heat it up to 69.1.
Strike
Trouble
temperature.
again.
69.
Welcome to another day at Tayport Distillery. You've cocked up the temperatures, so we got to wait till this heats up again. So we're probably 30 minutes behind schedule. I don't know. Fucking laughing.
We are Tayport Distillery, a family-run distillery in the Kingdom of Fife. We distill from grain to glass, and our liqueurs are made with freshly picked berries, squeezed by hand for maximum flavour. No concentrates, no flavourings, no fuss, just great taste. Hi, I'm Ali, Head Distiller here at Tayport Distillery. Join us as we take you behind the scenes to show you how our spirits are made, the process behind them, and the people involved. This is Tayport Distillery.
Today, we're at the distillery where we start the process of turning barley into vodka.
Okay, so today, once we get our temperatures sorted out, we're going to be making what is our Malt Barley Vodka. This is one of the products we're most proud of, and it's probably one of the best days that we have in the distillery.
Best and worst days.
Yeah, best and worst days, yeah. There's always something goes wrong. But anyway, at the end of the day, we always make a really nice product. So this is going to be the day when we do our mashing, ultimately do our fermenting before we get round to doing our distilling. And what you're going to see is we'll be emptying these sacks of barley into this grain bucket and taking the grain through and into our mash tun. This is the man with the muscle.
Yeah.
He'll be doing most of the work.
I'll be lifting the bags.
Yeah, I'll be up top directing operations.
Do you want me to start speaking about it now? Here, yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool. So, all right. So, this is the malt barley we get. We get it from Crisp Malt. They've never really let us down, to be fair. Every time we've used it, it's been fantastic. And we're probably one of the few in Scotland now using malt barley for vodka. It's mainly used for whiskey, but making it with vodka, once you distill it, you still kind of get this caramel kind of cocoa sweetness that comes off in our vodka, and that's why it's one of the top vodkas in Scotland.
One of the things I wanted to add was that most vodkas are actually made with either a wheat base or a potato base, so it is a little bit unusual that we've gone for malt barley as a base, and I don't really understand why more people aren't using malt barley as a base. It's clearly provided us with a really smooth vodka that's got hints of that barley coming through, somewhat biscuity sort of touch. And the proof of the pudding is it's actually in the awards that we've received. We've got the World Masters Vodka. We were voted the best craft distillery vodka in the world in 2021. And we've also got an IWSC Gold Outstanding, which we're obviously really proud of.
So the first thing we do is we flush the tank with water pretty much just to get it preheated because you lose a lot of temperature in the tank. So we're flushing it with water and then we're going to drain that water off. So I'm just going to connect this to the bottom of the mash tun so we can push the water out into a drain. Oh, jeez. Yeah, so we're just about coming to temperature now. So we'll preheat the mash tun, drain that water off, and then we'll load this up, get the grain in, and start mashing. Careful.
Okay, so now you've seen us do the hard bit, lifting the sacks of grain, ready to load up into the mash tun. Now the easy bit, we use this trusty auger to pull the grain up and to mix it with the hot water before it enters into the mash tun. That's the next stage of the process. You'll need to come up and take a closer look.
Yeah, so next problem, Duncan's forgotten to fill the bed of the mash tun, so we've got to put 300 litres in there.
That's on me. Now we fill it up with some water for the grain to rest on.
Yeah, so this is just a level to kind of tell us exactly where the water is inside the mash tun. So you can see we've got the bed written down there, which is going to be about 300 litres. So once this reaches this part, we know the bed is filled, and then we can start mashing in. And then we got first water here, which is the mix of the grain and the water. So that's the first water that goes in. So when we start draining to the fermenter, we got to do a second water, which is called a sparge. So you want to be heating it with a bit more, well, you want to be using water that's a bit hotter than the first water that we used, just to release the rest of the sugars and the enzymes that we haven't previously.
So you can see the grain coming up towards me now. Probably not very clear, but once you come up to the top, you'll be able to see it coming into the mixer. And there it goes into the mixer. So now what we do is get the water on, and that's just going to mix until we've collected all the grain and pulled it all up into the mash tun. Hopefully at the correct strike temperature, which today we're setting at 69. So here we are filling the mash tun. We're only about 2 or 3 minutes in. It's going to be 30 minutes until we get it full. But one of the important things here is to make sure that we get all of the barley and the grain wetted out. We don't want big dry patches, so that's what the rake is for, that's spinning round. And that's going to ensure that it turns the grain over, mixes it well with the water, so that we get it nicely soaked and it can continue on to the next part of the operation.
Right, so we've finished mashing in, so we're going to leave this for about 45 minutes to work its wonders, and then we'll come back and see how it is. Get a cup of tea. Right, so now we're gonna do the vorlauf. So the vorlauf basically is the sediment that sits at the bottom of the mash tun. So we're just gonna cycle through that up to the top and let it sit at the top. So it's like turns into sort of a natural filter, isn't it?
Natural filter, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, if you can see there, it's a little bit yellow, and it's quite dusty.
And over time, probably 20 minutes, that's going to go from a really light sort of creamy color to a much darker color as more of the flavor that we want in the wort starts to come through from the grain bed. So we need to recirculate that through the mash.
Okay, so we're now finishing up with the vorlauf. You can see the color there has gone a bit darker, and now what we need to do is drain this off slowly into the fermenter, and once we see the grain bed collapse, we'll add in our second water, so our first sparge, and this is just to get all the residual sugars that's left in the grain there.
Yeah, I can't really add any more to that.
Decent. All right.
We've collected what we call the first water, and now we're doing a sparge, and it's the second water. And we're adding really hot water to run through the grain for the second time, just to collect all the residual sugars to make our mash, to get our mash performance up as high as possible. We want as much sugar as we can to be collected, and that's why we do this.
Okay, so we've done the mashing in process, we've done the vorlauf, and we've done the sparge. So all that's left to do is the fermentation and the distillation, but that'll be coming in the next video. We hope you've enjoyed this one. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Yes! That was it, wasn't it? Good.